Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. We give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a very serious show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Be sure to hit all notifications to be notified the second our content comes out. And if you want our full show, it is streaming on the DREAMERSPRO podcast. We have pinned in the comments below. Let me get into this topic here. We have been amongst the few platforms that have been talking about this LeBron James, Kevin Garnett scandal. As you guys know, a few weeks ago, Kevin Garnett was having a conversation with Paul Pierce, his former teammate, Boston Celtic teammate, where they were essentially arguing whether or not LeBron James could guard his younger son, or whether or not his son could score a bucket on him. And Kevin Garnett essentially said that LeBron James is on that Balco, right? He's on that new juice. Then I quickly started to do some research, and I understood just how serious of a implication that was by Kevin Garnett implying something like that. And then various content creators like 78 Sports and others made it clear that, listen, this isn't the first time that Kevin Garnett has said this. He said this on numerous occasions. So we started talking about it. The other channels started talking about it. And then you saw a big name in Jason Whitlock. He covered the story. Right? This is a person that used to work on television. Jason Whitlock touched this story. And then more people started talking about it, but always in the independent space. And I was sitting back here asking the question, why won't anyone in big media touch this story? Why won't anyone touch this story? It seems like everyone is running for the hills when it's such an important story. And even Mace himself chimed in and like, listen, we're doing NBA fans a major disservice by not covering this story. We covered Barry Bonds. We covered all those other situations. Why aren't we at least talking about what Kevin Garnett says? So what happened this morning, I came across a stream, excuse me, from 78 Sports TV, and he was talking about Skip Bayless and Undisputed, where they actually discussed this on their platform before, and I was like, wait, what? So I quickly hunted down the clip to see for myself whether or not it was true. And then I quickly searched for it, and as it turns out, Skip Bayless actually had the courage to talk about not what Kevin Garnett said, but the initial report that came out surrounding the PED allegations with LeBron James' former trainer, where he was named, his wife was named, and he was talking about this on television with Keyshawn Johnson. And I was like, wait a minute, I never knew Skip Bayless covered this story. So that's what we really want to hone in on today. But before we even get into that, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is really simple. Instead of just selecting a team, you just select two or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and then you place your entry. For example, this week, I'm selecting two entries. Stephen Curry for more than 25 points, and then I got Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, and Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made. Prize Picks is also the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So for example, if you have a player who gets injured in the first half and doesn't return to the second half, that player gets automatically rebooted. What I also love about Prize Picks is that it offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit matchup up to $100. That's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. And once again, once you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is we're going to play exactly what Skip Bayless had to say in the conversation. I want you guys to listen carefully to some of the things that Keyshawn Johnson said, because he had a slip up there, which was a bit strange, to be quite honest with you. So I want you guys to take a listen to it in its entirety, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to this exchange here.
Okay, before I speak, I'm going to reiterate that the investigators told ESPN absolutely no connection was found between LeBron and what was going on with biogenesis, just for the record. So there is nothing to this whatsoever. Now, big picture. I sit back and I stroke my chin and I think about this and I say, if nothing else, it is a bad look for LeBron, because you know Randy Mims, I think. Have you been around him at all? Or
don't know him.
Oh, you don't know him. Okay,
no,
I thought.
You're not putting me with him.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to associate. But Randy Mims is a cornerstone of that group. He is the right-hand man to LeBron James.
I understand.
He is hands-on on a daily basis in ways that Rich Paul and Maverick are not. This is day to day. He is on top of every little thing with LeBron James. So my point to you is, Randy Mims obviously is well taken care of by LeBron, so he's got some money, I assume. So why would he have to resort to going to a questionable source that eventually would be linked to biogenesis to get testosterone and whatever metabolism enhancing injections that he needs, even if he's just doing it for his personal weight loss, and that can help in weight loss? Why not just go in Miami? You know Miami. I lived in Miami. There are wellness centers like on every other corner. You got aging people down there, and they go to the wellness centers because you can go to a real live doctor, a qualified doctor, and you can get a prescription for testosterone or whatever you want. You can do it above board. You can do it through the proper channel. You can do it the right way. Why would you resort to dealing with a shady character, a very questionable character, who finally gets caught up in this biogenesis scandal because you don't need to deal with that guy? Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
You can just do it the right way.
I'm with you 100%, but maybe he thought he was doing it the right way. I don't know. I know Randy enough to know that.
So you do know Randy.
I do know him enough, but I don't. I was. When you think about it, I understand what you're saying, Skip. But sometimes when you're not given all the information about a situation, you put yourself in that situation until such due time that you have to remove yourself.
Yeah.
And in Randy's case, maybe he put himself in that situation because the trainer Alexander, who they trust, who they had business with, was also in dealings at the same time with the biogenesis whole. So you connected and you say,
reportedly that's the case.
Reportedly that's the case. So you got one dot over here, the other dot over here, the other dot over here is all connecting. And you say, it's just like me and you. If you and I come to you and I say, hey, Skip, that guy who's selling the watches that you deal with, what do you think? You say, yeah, I get them for this amount of money, and they're nice and they're all on board and everything's good and they signed. Okay, I'm going to use your guy. Come to find out, he's wanted in Australia for bank robbery or something.
Exactly.
That's how these things go.
That's how they go. Okay. I'm with you on the trainer because LeBron used him for a while. Savannah used him for a while to train. Who knows? Then later it came out that he was connected through. And
they were in business with him?
Okay, she was. She was. Okay, I got no issue with that because I think it came after the fact, as you point out, that he, quote unquote, robbed a bank in Australia, right? Okay. All right. I also want to point out there were rampant reports. This is way back in 2013 when all this hit the fan, the biogenesis, that there was an assistant who worked at Biogenesis who said that every month a man named Mr. Paul came by to pick up a PED order for a player with the initials LJ. And obviously, Rich Paul is LeBron's longtime agent and runs, obviously, Clutch Sports. And so people were connecting the dots with no proof whatsoever that, well, wait a second, could this be Rich Paul picking up for LJ as in LeBron James? Reports were rampant. This was 2013. He's obviously with the Miami Heat. And yet, nothing ever came of it. And I will say this. I know a whole lot of people around the NBA. I've been doing this for a long time. Not once have I ever heard a whisper from an insider about, you got to watch LeBron because he's this and that and this and that. In 2013, because I've covered so much scandal with PEDs through baseball and football, that I sat back and thought, well, does LeBron look the part? Well, sure he does, because he got the great physique, and his durability has been all-time. And so you do connect dots at that point and say, well, is it possible he resorted to? It's possible, but again, I would tell you if I'd heard a peep about this, I've not heard a whisper about this. So it's only surprising to me that we go all the way back to Randy Mims, who is bedrock for LeBron. And by all accounts, everything I've ever heard about Randy Mims is he is the heart and soul of that operation. You know, that team, he is the guts of that team.
So you heard the conversation there. Let me quickly tell you what stands out to me. The first thing, I don't know why Keyshawn Johnson said he knows Randy Mims, and then he said he doesn't know him. I'm not exactly sure why he said that. Maybe he didn't want to be connected to the story. He's like, don't bring me in on any of this. Maybe that's probably the reason why. I don't know, but I don't know why he said two different things in that audio. That's the first part. The second part, and this is the part that really stood out to me, which is this. Skip Bayless talking about this. Don't get it twisted. These people are running for the hills right now. They don't want to touch it. They don't want to touch this story. They don't want to touch the story. Now, here's the reason why it causes people like us to have some suspicions. If it weren't true, what would be the harm in addressing it? If you go back to the comments that Chael Sonnen just made on the PBD podcast, he actually doubled down on what he said when Adam and these guys asked him, wait a minute, you're saying that you and LeBron had James have the same drug guy. Are you just saying that like just to be saying it, or do you actually mean that? He's like, no, I actually mean that. Now, here's why that's important. Chael Sonnen is employed by ESPN, number one. Number one. So if he would have come out there and say something as egregious as that, one would have thought that ESPN would cut ties with him by now. They haven't. Number one. Number two, for him to go out there and say something as inflammatory as that and essentially put himself in a position to be sued, it must mean that he's like, wait a minute, if you want to go down that road, I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. So you have that aspect of the situation. Then you have the part of Skip Bayless even discussing this on live on national TV. That's a very big deal. It is a very, very big deal. Listen, here are the facts. The facts are the following. Other athletes have been busted for stuff like this. Barry Bonds, Marion Jones, and a litany of others. Why should LeBron be exempt? Number one. Number two, if you listen to Skip Bayless in that soundbite carefully, you will hear something. He's like, do I believe that he's doing it? No. But however, is it within the realm of possibility? Well, sure. He goes, if you look at his physique and you look at how he's playing at his advanced age, one could be able to draw some conclusions. And let's not get it twisted. We're not going to let these guys that are trying to talk about we're done with the 90s and we're done with the 90s distract us from the real serious conversations. This is what we actually need to be talking about. And we're going to continue to talk about it. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to have a bunch of people coming in the comment sections, whining and moaning and complaining and hollering and screaming. Oh, why are you talking about this? Oh, why are you talking about that? I'm just going to assume that you guys like watching our channel, because it doesn't make any good sense to me why you guys continuously tune in to whine and moan and complain about something you clearly have issues with. Our haters are here. Funny enough, our haters are the first ones to the channels whenever we produce content. They're here before our supporters. So once again, I thank you guys for your continued support. Y'all can't help yourselves. So we thank you. Thank you for your views. Thank you for contributing to our revenue. The more you complain, the more you watch, the more our channel grows. We appreciate you. Thanks so much. Y'all have a good day. Peace.